I got a little wisdom for your ass today. Preach balance, provoke thought, promote open-mindedness. Wisdom is your perspective on life, your sense of balance. What if we can magnify our own lens of perception? Bob Marley said wisdom is greater than silver and gold. That's what I'm about. Seek wisdom, develop oneself, attack life, and get it. I'm the Wisdom Dropper. Hello and welcome to the Wisdom Dropper podcast. It's Wisdom Drop Wednesday. I'm Daniel Bronze and I have a little wisdom for your ass today. It is episode number 2 and I am talking about how the universe made me a gym owner. And I'll phrase it like that because the idea of this podcast came about when I read a book called The Alchemist. It's a very well-known book by Paulo Coelho. And when I read that book, it made me think about my journey to become a gym owner and the struggles, the good omens and the trials. So I wanted to talk about my journey a little bit. But the main point that I want hopefully to come across from this podcast is if you are kind of on your journey and doing something that you believe in, you know, you're going to be hit with a lot of trials, it's going to be hard, and you just got to keep reading the omens and the positive signs that are confirming to you that you're doing the right thing, because that's definitely what happened to me when the seed planted in my mind to open a gym up until the moment I became a gym owner. So I'll just get into it and start sharing a little bit about my story. And first thing I want to talk about is how the seed planted and the 3 signs or the 3 omens that kind of confirm me that I need to do this. And the first one started when I was at university at Massey up on the North Shore, and I had to do a paper, an entrepreneurial paper, and pretty much come up with a business idea and do all the planning for it as if you were about to launch it in real life. And the idea I had, I won't go into it, but it was to do with gyms and allowing anybody to access the gyms and the gym getting a fee, a percentage of the casual visit. You know, it was just some kind of technology, and it ended up getting a good score in that grade. But the bottom line is I had to do a lot of research in the fitness industry, and I didn't know that that was going to help me in the future because I had no idea or no thought of actually becoming a gym owner at the time. And then now fast forward, I've graduated from school and moved back home to Rotorua. And I was looking around for gyms to sign up at. And that was another huge sign and another omen, because the gyms, there were none that were 24 hours, which I'd come from in Auckland. And they were all way more expensive with a lot, I'd say, you know, it's still solid equipment, but it just wasn't as nice equipment as the gym that I was paying, you know, a lot cheaper for, and it had 24-hour access. So that really planted the seed a little bit more and started to grow. So I got my little detective hat on and I started calling up these gyms. You know, I did a free trial that they all had to offer. And then after that, I started calling them and just seeing if I could get a little bit of information about how many members each gym had. And to my surprise, whoever was on the other end of the phone gave me that information. And they were really big membership numbers. And I was just thinking, wow, I'm onto something here. And then the third omen was the big aha moment. And I decided to sign up at the closest gym. It wasn't even a gym. It was like a rugby club. And they had this little room with a bit of fitness equipment in there. And I signed up there, and the owner or the manager gave me a card and it had the number 500 and something on it. It was over 500 anyway. And I was like, what does that number mean? Is that how many members you have? And he was like, yeah. So I was just like, wow. I couldn't believe it. And that was the big aha moment or the epiphany that I had at the time to get into it and figure out a plan to make this thought in my mind become a reality. And those 3 things really set me up to do my own planning and build my confidence. And I I had huge confidence in my decision to figure out a way to open up a gym. Even though everyone around me didn't have that same confidence, they thought I was crazy. Even family, friends, close people to me. I was the only one that was confident to do this. I went to bank managers to try to get loans. They kind of laughed at me. I mean, I didn't help myself out by, just kind of, I'm just really laid back kind of thing. Anyways, let's get on to it. And now I'm talking about the obstacles and the trials and the hard times that you have to push through, because victory lies on the other side of these. And in the book The Alchemist, he talks about that too. There's going to be a huge trial, a moment right before you've kind of discovered your treasure, or you've obtained your personal goal or your personal mission. And I definitely had those, and I'm just going to share 3 of them. So the first one was when I was looking at a first location, and because I had no money, I was trying to jump in with my mum's business. She was doing Māori theatre cultural shows and a catering business, and she would have tourists come and watch her shows, and then she'll cater for them and provide dinner and hangis and stuff. But she wasn't using one side of the building, so I told her, hey, if I can use half of that for the gym and pay half the lease, it would be a good idea, and I'd get things rolling. But the problem happened when the landlord wasn't helping out, because I needed showers and toilets, obviously, for the gym to be built on there, and then we could add it to the lease. And he agreed with that. Cool. But time went on, and I was setting up this place. I started filling it up with equipment and getting the floor ready, and he hadn't done anything to build the toilets, and it got closer and closer to the date that I'd given him. And I just realized, mate, he's not doing it. He's not gonna build these showers and toilets in time. No, not even close. So I decided, you know what, let's find another place. And then I think at the time my mum was thinking about stopping there as well. So it worked out. I mean, she left, I left, and that leaves me on to the second big obstacle. And that was the second building that we tried to find and secure. Everything went well, and the night before I was having second thoughts, but I decided, no, this is what I want to do. The next day, the landlord calls me up and says, can we figure out a way where you can buy the land? Because what he was going to do was build my gym on a piece of land that he had, and then we figured out the numbers for the lease and everything. And then he started fluffing me around, so I didn't have patience for that, because I was already kind of sitting on the fence, and there was something in my gut and my instinct telling me this was a bad idea. And as soon as he brought that forth to me, it kind of confirmed my instinct. And it was simple. I just said, no, I'm not going to do that, and walked away. So we went to a place that just felt right. And as soon as I walked away from that one and we decided on this new venue, it was a green light. We signed the lease and we were away. So even those are the 2 obstacles so far, but they became huge blessings in the end. Who knows what would have happened if everything had gone right in one of those 2 locations. I don't think it would have gone well, to be honest. So even though those were my trials, big trials, they were actually omens / blessings in disguise. But the third one was not like that. So the third big obstacle, we were pretty close to opening. We're about a month out, and I just gotten a building consent done, and then the Rotorua Council decided that my business was going to increase the traffic flow on the main road. So they come up with a number of $8,000 as a fee for me to pay, because I was just opening up a business. And it was so ridiculous. It was on the newspapers and things like that. And we did fight it. I don't know why the whole fee didn't get waived, but we ended up cutting it down to $4,000. But luckily enough, my landlord decided to decrease my lease for the first year by $4,000. So it didn't really affect me. But at the time when I first got that, I was just thinking, how the heck am I? Because I was on such a tight budget to do what I was trying to do in the first place. And I'll get into that a little bit soon. But it all worked out in the end. I mean, these obstacles were big, huge ones to overcome. But we just found a way to get through those. After that, I just want to talk a little bit about the hustle at the time, because that is what you're going to have to do. I never worked so hard in my life. It's the hardest thing I've ever done up until this day, but it was all worth it. Looking back at it, easily worth it. Just to give you an idea, this is the position that I was and my family was in at the time we started to do this business. So I'd just come back from university and I had to live with my parents, with my wife. We'd just been married for a year. We had our son, and then we had just lost our second child, Kara. I won't talk about it too much. It's still a touchy subject for me to talk about, but I just wanted to give you an idea, because at that stage in my life, I didn't have anything to lose. And putting my mind and my efforts into this business was an escape from these thoughts and this dark time that we had been going through as a family, losing this baby. So I got to work, and I just want to talk a little bit about the hustle. I'm sure there'll be another time where I can talk about my girl Kara and what that was, but no, I just want to talk about the hustle, really. And it was huge. I had no money. I was doing something pretty crazy for the amount of money I had, but because of that, I had to work. And me and my wife even had a bit of help from family and friends. We painted all the walls. The building we had was an old motorbike paint shop or something, so it was really gangster, and we had to tidy it up, paint all the walls, put down each carpet tile ourselves. I was even in the roof rearranging the lights and the cables, trying to be an electrician. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for that, but no, an electrician came in and certified everything later on, so it's all good now. But I can't believe I did all that. But one of the hardest things was putting the sign up. I don't know why, but me and my dad got a cherry picker, and I just remember him being on one side and me being on the other side, lifting, kind of holding this huge sign as the cherry picker lifted us up. And that was so hard doing that sign, because I don't know what I was thinking, but some electrician said I should put LED lights on the back to give an illuminating effect. So there's no way I could afford to do that. So I tried to do it myself, and I was glue gunning these little LED lights to the back of the sign. And it was just a nightmare. And those lights didn't last long. They were out in 2 months. But just the fact I did that, I just don't know what I was thinking. Every week, taking a trailer up to Auckland, I became a Trade Me Pro. Trade Me's like the eBay of New Zealand. And I was just hunting for deals on fitness equipment. And nearly every weekend I was driving up with a trailer. And I don't know if you know, but fitness equipment's damn heavy, and trying to lug all these machines onto this trailer when there was only me and one other person, it was a freaking nightmare. But I'll do it all again. But yeah, I just wanted to, the hustle is real. I figured a lot. I had to learn how to do importing. But yeah, now I just want to talk a little bit about the moment of glory. So after all the hard work, the night before our grand opening, we were up till 5 a.m. in the morning, and I think we had planned to open at 7 a.m. And we were just, you could still smell the paint. We'd put the TVs up that night. We had done so much just the night before. And then I remember going to sleep for 2 hours, and we were opening at 7 a.m. in the morning. And I kind of slept in a little bit, but one of our friends came to help us out, help sign people up that came in for our grand opening. And I got there, and there were 6 people waiting at the counter to sign up. And I had never even practiced how to sign people up, because we were just so busy trying to get the place ready. We were just filling out these papers. I was on the phone trying to get instructions on what to do with my software and stuff like that. We didn't even have an EFTPOS terminal, so everyone had to pay cash. We weren't ready, but we got through it. And the moment of glory came when me and my wife went back home to our $200 a week granny flat. And because we didn't have an EFTPOS machine, we had all this cash. And we ended up reaching our break even on grand opening. And just coming home with my wife and lying down in our beds with about $5,000 of cash, just feeling such a relief that everything went well, and thinking about all the hard work and the long effort and the long mahi that we had gone through to get to where we were. So yeah, that's my journey, but I want you guys to take out of this story, this podcast, to not be discouraged by challenges, by obstacles. Think of them as a path that you need to get through, and victories on the other end. And think of them as huge learning experiences as well. And just to have the mentality to never give up. If you've made the decision and you believe in your idea and your business and your concept, even if nobody else does, just don't give up and keep pushing through those obstacles to make it happen. Look at the omens, look at the signs, think about something that you've always wanted to do, and you've had omens slap you on the face and say, hey, what are you mucking around for? I've been giving you signs, the universe has been giving you signs, God has been giving you signs to do this, but you're not reading them. So just be self-aware, be mindful of little things that happen to your day-to-day life. And if they're positive and if there's hidden meaning behind them, take that on board. Learn to read the omens. So that's the two takeaways. Learn to read omens, look at obstacles and trials as the final hurdle to that victory. And then just hustle, just grind and believe in your vision. That is all. Get it. If you would like to follow my journey or connect with me online, check me out on my blog, www.wisdomdropper.com. I'm also on social media, Snapchat, Instagram and Facebook as The Wisdom Dropper. Have an awesome week.